If you want to see your name at the beginning of all of our videos, as well as see exclusive content here on the homestead, please feel free to join our Patreon. Memberships start off at just $1 a month. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi friends, it's Maddie from the Itty Bitty Homestead Committee, and tonight, Tuesday the 17th, I have a live going up on TikTok. It's going to be with a very popular vet that maybe made some wrong ethical decisions, and I figured y'all would like a background of what's going on, especially if you don't go on TikTok. It might be a little weird because I've talked briefly about it here, and a lot of people don't cross-pollinate because they like certain apps. So I figured I would give you a background of what's going on. So Saturday or Sunday, I had a follower tag me in a veterinarian's video, which oh my god, it was not a good video. Basically, the background of it is the rabbit was born without hip sockets or correct joints. It should have been a nest box call, and instead of euthanizing the animal, the vet went ahead and amputated the hind legs of the rabbit and fit it to a cart. I'll show you the beginnings of what's going on with that right now.
Congenital deformity where he did not form any hip sockets.
Y'all are gonna get my blood pressure sky high today. Ugh. Congenital deformities like this should be called in the nest box. If you have a kit that shows anything like this, it's an auto call. You should be not letting it live. That is the ethical thing to do, and when you're doing things where you are putting them in a cart, it's just... This is why I don't sell pets. This right here is why I don't sell pets. This is why I only sell to breeders. I swear y'all are trying to give me some kind of migraine today. I really do swear y'all are trying to get under my skin for funsies. If you are doing this to a rabbit, please just stop. It is not ethical any way around. None of this is ethical. On the side of the pet owner, I'm so sorry your rabbit has this issue. Don't buy rabbits like these. On the side of the vet, why are you doing this? Why?
Chicken.
Please tell me why. This does not equate to a good life. Why are you doing this as a vet? And the side of the breeder, from an ethical breeder, shame on you for selling this. Shame on you for not culling this. If you are breeding them like this, why? If you aren't willing to eat them, don't breed them. And my followers, why are you doing this to me? Why are you sending me these videos to give me a migraine? Y'all know how I am. I'm gonna have a moment. And you know it. Stop it. So to be quite frank, I honestly didn't think the guy was going to see it because he has like 570,000 followers on TikTok. That is a huge amount of followers. So I figured my little sassy ass would not get his attention, but he started commenting in my comments thread. And the thing with TikTok is you can actually delete comments on your own videos, but if somebody responds to them, you cannot do anything. You can delete the fact that it was ever in your comments, but you can't delete my video. It just isn't happening. So what he was doing was any negative comments within his strain, he was deleting to make it look like this was a good idea he was doing. And he came into my comments to argue that what he was doing was proper procedure. Now, the thing is a lot of my mentors and a lot of the people and friends I hang out with are either vet techs or vets. And I have yet to see a single vet go, hey, this was a great idea. And he made the vital mistake of comparing human amputation to animal amputation. And even in the comment thread, made comments like phantom limbs do not exist in animals, basically because they can't communicate that they exist. And that got all kinds of fire because it was very ableist the way he was coming off, and I decided to answer in kind, not comparing any other human but myself, in that as somebody who has a full frontal lobe capability, who understands what's going on, I am not comfortable most days. I am in a lot of pain, and there are days I question why I'm alive and why I'm still going. And I'll kind of give you the idea of that video here next. just because, I fight fire with fire. And if I'm going to compare myself to an animal, it's fine, but I'm never going to compare somebody else to an animal, if that makes sense, because I'm playing on my playing field, not digging into somebody else's disabilities or problems or pain because I don't live in their shoes. Hey, Doc, I'm an Army vet. I've had a fractured pelvis. My joints don't work correctly. I'm on pain meds daily. It's a pain in the ass. And I understand why I need those things because I have full frontal lobe capabilities. My husband is also an Army vet, deals with a lot of similar problems. Again, cognitive understanding. Rabbits don't have that frontal lobe. They don't understand why you're doing that to them. If they are in pain, they don't understand why. They're also not built the way we are to do wheelchairs. From a standpoint of ethics, Doc, I gotta ask what you're doing. My child just pressed the freaking smoke detector. But if you're sitting here saying this is the best possible outcome for your patient, I gotta ask your ethics. I gotta demand why you think that's the best idea. Because if I am in pain daily as an Army veteran, who I don't understand why I gotta be alive half the time, why should a rabbit that can't even understand cognitive thinking? A rabbit does not have the understanding that I do, and I don't want to be alive half the time. So riddle me that. So the vet never responded to that video that I posted, but he continued to respond to my followers in my video that I first showed you. And in that, people were demanding to know why he was doing this, why he was putting a rabbit on 3 pain medications, which can affect the rabbit's gut, cause GI stasis and that kind of thing. And it was just a whole hullabaloo. And finally, he just kind of shut down. And the thing is that a lot of us, we were very respectful in the fact that, hey, what you did was wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. Why are you doing this? And instead of like being very active in the comments and being like, maybe I did make a mistake, he doubled down. He was very much so playing martyrdom in that, the owner wouldn't take euthanasia as a choice. I had no choice but to do this. And the thing is vets always have a choice to say no. And then it's on the onus of the owner to either listen to the vet and their experience or to try to move on and swindle another vet. If a vet says no, it's no longer on that vet. And he's very manipulative in the comments, saying that, he had no choice, and playing in martyrdom, but still framing what he did in a public space for 500,000 people to see, stating that it's a good thing. If you had no choice, why would you put it on the internet and frame it as if it were a good thing? So I reached out to him because he had mentioned in the comments that if we wanted to continue this discussion, we could have a live debate. And I was like, bet. I didn't even know who the heck he was at this point. I didn't even look at his follower account at that point. I didn't actually find out his follower account till last night when we were digging into his Instagram, his TikTok, and everything else. So we dug through it, and I reached out to him saying, hey, let's do this live. What time's a good time for you? And also, where are the studies that you used to back this, saying it was ethical? And he sent me like 8 different studies. And so he set the time and the place. I said, okay, I'm gonna bring on some mods and some other people to come talk to you, because the first thing in a debate that comes up is an appeal to authority, in that I shouldn't have the authority to argue any of these things because I don't have a formal education when it comes to vet med, which is fair. My formal education, both my bachelor's and my master's, is in human resources and employment law. So I totally get that. So I'm bringing on vets and vet techs to argue with him. And I also sent them all of these studies to dig through. But here's kind of another video for some background. So for those of you who don't know what's going on tomorrow with my live, basically we have a very large, very popular vet who made a very bad decision when it comes to ethics, and we're having a good old debate on it. But they sent me over a whole bunch of research, and I'm going to give you a quick down low because I honestly don't think they read it. Study 1 has to do with a single Mini-Rex 8-year-old senior animal that underwent surgery. In that surgery, there were 3 other rabbits that were referenced in that case. All of them had to do with amputations in rabbits. One completely disappeared from the study. Another did not make it on the table, and the third one was destroyed 3 days post-op due to respiratory distress. Other than the biggest takeaway from the study being all the references being negative towards amputation, they operated on a senior animal with really no expectation of quality of life. The study itself, I could argue the ethics on it. Study 2 was over a rabbit that was humanely destroyed after 2 years of post-op. Technically, it was 1.5 years. After a limb amputation because it had difficulty urinating, causing urine scalding and calcium buildup in the kidneys and bladder. A lot of that has to do with the pelvic tilt of the animal in these carts and how they're kind of sitting. And when we look at rabbits, when they are in these situations, the owners either need to be able to catheter the animal or they need to be able to stimulate urination. Most owners don't have the guile to continue to do this. Study number 3 goes over a limb amputation of rabbits. It is noted in these studies that rabbits do well with amputation on the front limbs when we're looking at the scapula. It nowhere mentions double limb amputation of the hind end, and it is noted within the study that amputation should not exceed 20% of the bone mass diameter of the animal, which is a huge problem when we are looking at amputation of limbs of the hind end for this study, as well as how far up they are in comparison to the previous vet's claims. Not to mention that in many of these studies, when we're looking at them, they don't mention animals that have hind end amputation or are using carts. Study 4 specifically claims that they are looking at amputations in dogs and cats, and that it is specified that you have to take in consideration the difference of gait when it comes to rabbits, and it should not be compared to other animals because of how they moved. And in that case, the only study reported was of a rabbit that died in surgery or was quickly euthanized after surgery because of complications. All of the studies that this vet noted are also in a core morbidity study where 85% of the rabbits that had amputations were either euthanized or died within 2 years of surgery because of the surgery. And those are the things that this vet actually included to send to me. And when it comes to client satisfaction, because that's one of his huge arguments, it's considered that 90% of clients were satisfied with the work of the vet. But when it comes to ethics, let me riddle you this, depending on when the question was asked. You just lost your beloved pet, right? You are under the impression that vet did everything that they could do within their capabilities. You are grieving, you are pushed upon this question. In being kind, you answer that question. They did everything they can do. I'm happy with all that did without knowing the background. You are grieving, you are not given the chance to really answer that from a stable state of mind. There's a question on the ethics when it comes to client satisfaction. And it's actually something we're going to immediately strike from the conversation tomorrow, because customer satisfaction in that case is just such a hard thing to argue. When looking at rabbits on pain meds, when we're looking at acute pain meds, normally 6 to 12 weeks for pain and anti-inflammatories after amputation, that's what's normal. Anything beyond that can be considered against quality of life and can be detrimental when we look at the liver and the kidneys. So right now, the rabbit that we are talking about is on 3 different pain medications. We don't know the outcome of the rabbit or how long they're going to be on medications, but odds are it's going to be way longer than 12 weeks. Which also leads into the very sensitive digestive tract. And this also comes up with the argument of rabbits when it comes to anesthesia and slowing down the gut. We see a high likelihood of rabbits dying from those complications in the weeks to months following that surgery because of how sensitive they are when it comes to that. There are other things as well, but those are the big things we're looking at right now, and we're looking at quite a few other things. I want to give a huge shout out to MMC as well as Domino. Y'all have been absolutely fantastic in this. I appreciate you, and tomorrow is either going to be absolutely fantastic or horrendous. So those are all the studies that I went through, and after talking to some other friends who are in vet med, going through the studies with them, and them starting to dig into this person themselves, it's interesting, and not in a good kind of way. So we're going to tonight have that live and just kind of figure out what the heck we're going to do, because it's quite the rabbit hole. And this is not me. There was a comment that I was vet bashing, and it's not that I'm vet bashing, right? I have vets that I absolutely love and adore. And the thing is if this is just the case of a single mistake, this vet is still doubling down on his choices, even after providing the studies that he did to show that this is not the most ethical practice. And even though we are very low when it comes to vets within the field, that doesn't mean that a vet should get away with an unethical practice and have the backing of thousands upon thousands of followers who don't know any better, because it is predatory. It is predatory towards people who have animals that are sick, dying, hurt, that it's better for the animal and for the owner to put the animal out of its misery than continue to do these surgeries that are thousands upon thousands of dollars for basically just death, destruction, and mayhem. So that's going on. That's kind of the background of what's going on with this live, and there's more nuance to it even in the comment section of my TikToks. You are more than welcome to go there, but I figured y'all here on YouTube would like some background of what the hell is going on. So if y'all want to join us, you are more than welcome to. If not, I'm going to figure out how to download the live from TikTok and see if I can get it posted to here within the next day or two. But if y'all made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Let's start leaving like bunny emojis or different kinds of emojis if you make it to the end. So leave a bunny emoji if you made it to the end, and thank y'all so much for watching and sticking around, and maybe I'll see you tonight. Bye guys.